This episode of the Zuloo Poodcast is sponsored by Zuloo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at zuloo.com.
Why is there a gap at the front of public toilet seats? It's in a U shape, right?
Oh, yeah.
Never thought about that
The ones
before.
at home, usually they go all the way around. Public toilet seats have a U shape. You ever thought about that? I mean,
it has crossed my mind. I'm like, there's that U again. You know what I mean?
I actually wanted, when I installed toilets, I actually wanted a U shape, but my wife wasn't going to have it.
That's sad.
But you got
Welcome to the Zuloo Poodcast, where we talk all things poop, toilets and sanitation. Through insightful news, impact stories and quirky humour, we aim to discuss and highlight the critical role toilets play in whisking poop out of our lives, the impact toilets have, or lack thereof, in the health and wellness of humanity, and what Zuloo is doing to help solve the current global sanitation crisis.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Zuloo Poodcast. We are so excited to have you listening with us this episode. We've got a great lineup today. We're going to be talking about some more Zuloo stories and some poo news. So let's jump right in. Darren, what do you have poo news for us?
Well, I've got some news out of Ireland, your old neck of the woods, Quinn.
You know me.
I've got these veterans. Didn't say what branch of the service they're in. Army.
Well.
Irish Army. I don't know if it's Irish Republican Army. Doesn't say, but
it's the IRA.
Yeah. But veterans spend 5 days in portable toilets for charity.
Wow.
120 hours they spent living inside these porta potties just to raise funds for Forgotten Veterans UK. 5 days portable toilets. They eat, sleep, and naturally go to the loo because, they're
repulsed by the idea of eating in my bathroom
They're
space.
living in it. Yeah, that's not a very sanitary thing, I don't think, to eat in a porta potty.
Did people just bring them food, or do you think they had to prepare
They had to
it?
make it.
They're just easy macking all day,
they had a griddle.
every day.
Maybe they brought, maybe I imagine people
The toilet
would
seat.
bring them some
I think
food.
the toilet seat was a hot plate. Yeah.
Flip the lid down.
Boom, eat it up.
There's a little pedal, side pedal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's
awesome.
what kept them warm at night, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like you
Just warm enough to heat some food up.
reuse, recycle.
Yeah,
Reuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool. It's like, okay, we're doing this for public awareness. I mean,
Totally.
but I don't think it really counts because the loos were brand new and they were never.
Oh yeah.
They weren't like they were filled with anything else.
Doesn't count.
Oh, so they were like...
But the only thing that I guess they were, but because they were in there for 120 hours, they had to use it themselves, right? So I don't know. I guess it counts because it depends if they either have to hold it for 120 hours or live above it.
Wow.
You're not holding it for 120 hours.
Well, yeah, that's really awesome. It reminds me of the movie 127 Hours.
It does.
And
It's close.
A little
Similar.
less
Kind of close.
gory.
Because the end of that movie cuts his arm off. Maybe that might, for them, they finally just take a dump, and it's the same kind of release. So I imagine that's probably pretty powerful, and an Oscar award-winning film at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is as dramatic, but still, I mean, it's a long time to live in a porta potty.
I mean, I imagine by
right?
day 3, it'd be pretty dramatic in there because you're pushed up against the wall.
Yeah, you're trying to sleep in there.
Yeah, I don't even understand that, and I don't understand how this became an idea. How are we going to raise awareness? What if we just sat in a porta potty for 5 days?
Does it say the charity has anything to do with sanitation?
No, actually, it was Forgotten Veterans UK deal with veteran suicide and employment and that kind of thing. So I think with anything, if you do it on a toilet, it's going to get attention, right?
Right.
That's the common phrase.
They could have done, we're going to do 120 days sitting at tea and not move from this table. Well, they're not going to get the same.
It's a little more, yeah.
You're in a porta potty, or portaloo is how they call it over there. Portaloo. You're going to get some attention. So
no, I remember I always tried to get attention because I love attention.
Yeah, that's why you're on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are. I remember when me and my wife had separated, and I was trying to get her back, and I just sent her a phone call. I FaceTimed her, but I was sitting on the toilet, and I was like, I really care about you, and then it got her attention.
This is how intimate you care to be with her.
The toilet really, opens the door for a relationship.
That's true.
It's a huge show of love.
Our last episode, Jack Sim, he talked about the toilet being a very intimate household item.
Yeah,
it's the most intimate relationship you have, you'd say.
It's the most intimate appliance you have, right?
Because you have to take your pants off every time you say hi to it.
That's a Jack Sim quote.
That's a Jack Sim quote.
Check you out, man. You're quoting Jack Sim already.
I'm already quoting JS.
If you haven't watched that podcast, rewind, go or jump ahead wherever it's on.
Pause it right now. Flip it over there.
Go listen to that one and then come back.
Get the knowledge, and then think about how we should all probably travel to Singapore.
Go thank your toilet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kiss your toilet.
Bow to it.
Go bow to your toilet.
Yeah.
One other article I wanted to highlight here is there's an article. It's not really news, but it's sort of a newsworthy, kind of one of those factoid that you would, like if you're playing Jeopardy, why is there a gap at the front of public toilet seats? It's in a U shape, right?
Oh yeah,
never thought about that.
The
before.
Ones at home, usually they go all the way around. Public toilet seats have a U shape. You ever thought about that? I mean,
it has crossed my mind. I'm like, there's that U again. You know what I mean?
I actually wanted when I installed toilets. I actually wanted a U shape, but my wife wasn't going to have it.
That's sad.
Especially,
but
you
got
the cool,
then
the
you
cool
got
black ones. The ones they had in school. They were black.
Wow, I didn't even know they had stealth ones. I've never seen that.
Anyway, have you ever thought about that U-shaped toilet seats? Apparently, it's written into the American Standard National Plumbing Code.
Oh.
Gotcha.
What does it
Toilets
do?
shall be equipped with seats of smooth, non-absorbent material.
That's good.
And all seats for public use shall be of the open front type. So they basically did a study back in the 1950s where they, and a lot of it, interestingly enough, is based upon wiping habits.
Oh,
and the fact that
in astrology,
I mean, back in the 1950s, you weren't we wouldn't think, they're thinking about women and toilets. No, it was actually
the 50s was a considerate time for women.
Women's parts are kind of exposed to the seat, and sometimes there's material or other things on the seat, and the so they've thought, well, we'll just cut that piece out.
Boom. And
so there's less proximity or less risk to touch the seat with your, little female parts.
Wow.
So, or really any parts, I guess, I mean, I guess it could be any. But yeah, the U shape says here, basically, the U shape was meant to give ladies plenty of room without having to stand up or touch the seat directly. And so,
wow.
So
I've just never imagined a woman having to brace herself on the toilet seat.
But that's the reason for the U shape. It's the law.
I feel cared about.
So
if you have a public toilet seat and you don't have the U, I don't know, you might go to jail.
Report it. Yeah. And also yet another thing we can blame women for, the U toilet seat.
And it's kind of a ubiquitous thing. I mean, you don't think about it. You're like, we're at the airport and it's a U. I mean, it's like you sort of know. When you're sitting on it.
So now when I look down at those toilet seats, I'm like feminism, and I'll shake my head, and I'll just go and take a dump in a urinal. I'm like, I don't care.
You would, Quinn.
Yeah, I would. I have done it. I was thinking about, you know how...
It's a story for another time.
We need to dive deeper into this story.
We will dive so deep into this.
Into the urinal.
Yeah, into the urinals,
episode.
fishing it out of there. I
think that's a crime, by the way.
If they
somewhere,
only if they catch you.
Only if they catch you.
Yeah, true.
There's no cameras in the bathroom
that you know of.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You know. Well, which reminds me of that.
I tell you, if I saw a guy crap it in a urinal, I'm like pulling my phone out.
Oh yeah,
recording
to get TikTok famous.
No,
I'm gonna turn the guy in.
Then I'll turn around and say I'm 18. I'm 17. I'm like, you're a sex offender now. And then you know, and then you wouldn't do anything with the footage.
That's true.
So you just have to flip it on them.
Yeah, I was doing for a while there. I was like, rating toilets. Going in. I take photos of toilets and stuff. Mm-hmm. But you got to be sensitive, right? You don't want to be pulling it out when somebody's standing there.
Oh,
right.
I would. I would go and live stream it.
Yeah,
live stream it.
Yeah.
Listen to this stream on live stream.
So my wife was like,
ASMR.
"Oh, you should do video," and I'm like, "Well, that's even kind of more dangerous, right? Because who's going to walk into your video?"
I don't understand.
The symphony of sounds you might capture.
What is the point of this? You just going in and just taking photos?
Just hey, this is a nice bathroom, and I'm going to post about it. Or no, this is a terrible bathroom. I'm going to.
He's doing you a favor, Quinn. So when you're on your next delivery,
so
you can hop on the Instagram page or whatever and see what's the nice toilet
map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the vision I've got of like 2030 is like, Zuloo's got an app that you can pull up any toilet and say, should I, where's the best bathroom?
Zuloo Poohoo or whatever, like the app's called.
It could be that.
That's fun. Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome because I also could be like...
We need to merge with Yelp or something.
You could do like
the
Anthony Bourdain of toilets.
Wow.
You could we could have a whole travel show where we go around and we have like,
Well, we talked about
I'm on board.
You with the webcam.
I could be the Bourdain of toilets.
You could be the Bourdain of toilets.
I'll kill myself in France and it will be awesome.
Yeah.
But only after you're released from the Singapore.
Yeah. And after I've changed the world and how people talk about toilets and then I'm like, my work here's done, and I think that'd be awesome. I could, I could always talk about everything because I'd have those conversations where we're talking about art and what this jazz is like in Shanghai. And then I'd go and this toilet is used in this way at 2 a.m. at this nightclub. And then it'd be a whole
document it.
Yeah, I would document it. And, they'd have a really tight cam on my face, and you could see all my reactions.
Yeah,
as I'm using the bathroom.
I'm envisioning it, and it's beautiful.
It's very beautiful. Yeah. It's
write that down. Write that down.
Yeah, 2022 goal.
That's 2022. Bourdain it.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next Zuloo story. This week we'll hear Durga's story. We're going to go ahead and play that recording, and here she's another Zulu beneficiary from our Hyderabad, India trip in 2019.
Durga's story. Local female rights activist Durga explains the ways open sewage targets the health of women in her community. I'm luckier than a lot of the women who I used to live with in the Sikandrabad slum, and I'm so grateful for my fortune. My husband works extremely hard as a contractor and now earns rupees 4,000 per month. This is about $50, which won't seem like a lot to many people, but it allows us to live in a cleaner part of town where we have our own toilet, our neighbors have their own toilets, and my family and I can live a better life. The problem is, I feel incredibly guilty. Now that we have a nice smelling, safe place to wash and relieve ourselves, I can't stop thinking about the hundreds of families in our old slum community who don't. When I first started the women's group in the slum, my dream was to help educate women in finance, domestic violence, legal aid, and their right to information. I would hold meetings at my home and speak to women about their basic human rights. At first, only a few women came, and they were very quiet. Over time, they began to talk a little more, brought some of their friends, and eventually the group turned into a large, lively forum where women began to talk about all kinds of concerns openly and trust me. There was one issue, however. They never brought it up in our group meetings. Mothers, new wives, grandmothers, teenagers, daughters, they all started coming to me individually for advice to talk about one thing. UTIs. They spoke to me about quiet throbbing in their ovaries, sharp burning sensations, difficulty urinating, pain during intercourse, irritation, itchiness, soreness, endless discomfort, preventing them from being the women they wanted to be. At one time or another, all these women had urinary tract infections but were too embarrassed to go to their doctor or tell their families, and too poor to afford the medicine they desperately needed. They were suffering in silence, and the cause of these infections? There were no toilets. There were no toilets in the slums. There was no sewage system, and there was very little running water. Nauseating sewage lines the streets around the homes, mixing with mud in the rainy season, spreading dangerous bacteria and sickening smells even further around the roads and even into houses. It becomes impossible to tell the difference between mud and feces, and the way women have to sit to relieve themselves brings them into even closer contact with the filth. Sickness in the slums is inevitable for women, and chronic illness thrives as a result. We are in desperate need of a clean, affordable, respectable solution.
Wow, I mean, sounds like a U-shaped toilet seat is not going to help her very much. I mean, but that's kind of what we're talking
What it kind of might.
Well, it sounds like that's what they want.
I mean, they don't even have a toilet to put the toilet seat on.
They can't even debate the pros and cons of a U-shaped toilet seat.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. See our little petty problems we've got are little pale in comparison, right?
They truly do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, like, again, sort of backstage problems you don't think about when you think, I don't have a toilet. What's going to happen if I don't have a toilet? Probably not a big deal, but like, it's a huge deal.
Oh,
small illness turns into chronic illness.
Well, once again, just think about if you're on a road trip and all of a sudden you're like, there's no bathroom nearby. And if you start to feel like you have to go to the bathroom, it's all you can think about is you're like, oh my God. Like, and then like when you finally come across a gas station, like finally, because you're like, I don't want to, especially if you have to take a dump, you're like, I don't want to pull off to the side of the road. It's like, so I can't even imagine if that's like every day. And there's no gas station.
There's no gas station.
There's no gas station. There's no Mavericks. There's no 7-Eleven.
Well, I've heard, I don't know, Kelsey, you're a woman, so tell me, I mean, I've heard that if women hold it for so long, it increases their likelihood of a urinary tract infection. Is that true?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have actually never had a UTI, so I don't know a lot about them.
Well, why are you on the show?
So much slack from all the women on here.
I think
all you listeners are women.
I was hesitant to throw that out because now the universe is going to curse me, and I'm going to like
nothing
go home.
happened. I'm pretty sure I've had a UTI.
Yeah, men get them too.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I've had moments where I feel like I can't stop peeing. That sensation. One feels great. Oh. You love it when you just like you feel like you have to. At one point, I put a plastic bottle next to me, just right down there because I was like, I feel like
you don't have an
accident. It couldn't stop or whatever. Yeah. It's crazy. So.
I think it's totally different than a UTI, though.
I don't know what it was.
I mean, my mom did get them all the time when I was growing up, and I just remember seeing her discomfort and seeing her pain, and it just felt like every month. I swear, it was like every month we were at the doctor for her. Like I'd just like go along with her. She'd take me and she's like another UTI, and I'm just like, that sounds awful. She's on this like endless stream of antibiotics.
Cranberry juice.
So,
well, it sounds like it's, I mean, we were talking about the U-shaped toilet and the proximity of your parts to the seat, but it sounds like, in India where, they're,
mud meshes with fecal matter.
Right. Mud and fecal matter. And you're not
position.
that far from that. Right. And, whether there's splashing going on or whether there's high water, whatever, it is an issue where you get bacteria, and I could totally see that
for sure
being a big. Well, we don't have to speculate. We heard it firsthand.
Well, I mean, think about if you can't even hold that squat. Because if you're having to squat like that, and if you don't have like an Olympic body, like you could, like I would
not even an Olympic body. I would fall down.
I would fall down.
I fall totally backward.
And I can't imagine that, especially like because I've had moments where it's like you're clenching, everything is like I would fall down every single time. I'm sure. I'm positive.
I think that's what makes this like imagery even more difficult to sort of process, is to think that like these minor illnesses can really develop into a chronic illness and can debilitate one's body so that they're so weak they can't.
Yeah.
Right. They can't go to the bathroom by themselves. So then all of a sudden you have this weird social dynamic where you've got husband who maybe needs to help you, and that's like a social no-no in lots of parts of the world. Or you need, mom's help or grandma's help or daughter's help, whoever.
Right.
And it just becomes this burden on a family member, becomes a burden on the family. It just has all these like repercussions for the family and then for the
because
community.
they don't have a toilet.
Because they don't have a toilet.
Yeah. It's like they have like a problem with their car, like their tire is kind of messed up, but they have no tools to fix it. So tires can just keep getting worse because if that tire starts to go, and it's like there's just no tool.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think that Durga just also highlights a really important point to the sanitation crisis, which is that it's a global public health crisis as well, because I keep coming back to this, right? This like chronic illness, but it's really a matter of like life and death. On, our first episode with Jack Sim, he just very directly said, you don't have a toilet, and you don't have a proper way to treat the sewage, then like your neighbor down the river from you's drinking like poo water, and then they get sick and they die. Like, and it sounds overly simplistic, but the truth is that it really can be that direct and that simple.
It's a reality that most of the world, at least 2.3 billion people have to deal with. And you could draw all the clean water wells you want, but if all the poo flowing down river is getting into those drinking supplies and all that, then you're literally killing your neighbor. And as far as the story is concerned, the more we talk about toilets, the more I'm impressed. Because I used to think, okay, toilets are for number one and number two, but we talk about women's health and menstruation, and we should probably, I'm sure we'll do some future episodes specifically about that. We'll kick Quinn out and have. Kick me out too.
What do
we'll have an all-female,
we'll do an all-female cast here.
version of the Poodcast.
Somebody who's had a UTI can tell you.
And somebody that has a UTI.
I have so much to add.
So if there's somebody out there that has UTIs, female, interested, email us. You might become a
contact me.
You might become a host.
Get you on the show.
Yeah, you have to list every ailment you've ever had.
That's right.
List your weight, and it's exciting.
But the more we talk about it, it's like, well, it just increases the impact of a toilet, and you see it how a toilet installed in some of these communities for these families. It's like, and I think, we work with SAPID over there in India. They, they help organize kind of grassroots level organizations inside some of these communities, and whenever we ask them, hey, give us a list of who are gonna receive toilets, the highest on the list, the more women or young girls or they're in the families, they get the toilets before other families do, and everybody in those communities kind of agree that's the case.
That's the priority,
and which makes it an equitable thing. But anyway, I'm sure we could do a whole podcast on just the women's health issues around toilets. So
absolutely.
Anyway, very interesting. Story. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's very, very
grateful for the work that Durga's doing in her community. She also does a lot of grassroots work to bring awareness to these issues. And I think her example is one to follow. That if you've got a cause, wink, wink, that you really care a lot about, then chat with your friends about it. Share this podcast with them. Follow us on social media. Get the word out. Spread awareness.
And I'll be spreading awareness. I'm going to go get a U-shaped toilet seat, and I'm just going to strap that to the top of my car.
That's good.
And says, this ends now.
I think you should do it one on every door.
One every door, yeah.
Nobody can see the top of your car.
It'll replace the doors. Take the doors off. Put on the U-shaped U-shaped toilet seat.
Absolutely.
Open that up.
Not wintertime friendly, but you've got this nice jacket to keep
ready to go.
You warm, so it doesn't matter.
I'm fine. I could handle anything. I could confidently take a dump in Antarctica right now.
So you look warm enough.
I am very warm. Yeah. And, so I just wanted to throw that one out there.
Okay. Well, we'll be waiting to see some, photo evidence of that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
okay, it's a challenge.
Is on. Wait, real quick, can I say, you know what toilet seats suck? Are the ones that are like actual circles. They're like the small toilet seats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're like really small.
They're not the oblong.
No, it's like
total.
You have to kind of like sit at like an angle, and it feels like you're like a royal. People remember,
especially if there's tight quarters. So like there's like your knees against the door.
It's like an angle. He's doing this, and like it's and it makes me sad because that's the thing that Durga never gets to understand.
Some airplanes are just like that.
Oh yeah,
like that.
The ones where like you have to I have to push up against the wall. It's exciting in there.
I'm just getting this like image of my grandparents' toilet that they had when I was growing up, and my grandpa insisted on having a wooden toilet seat.
Good.
It couldn't be porcelain. It couldn't be plastic. It had to be wooden. And he still has it. I think he still requires that in his nursing
home. Every time I've
home.
encountered a wooden toilet seat, I'm like, pause. And I'm just like.
You should. It should give you pause.
No, it's.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a reason why the code talks about it's got to be non-porous, durable material, not this wood.
Yeah, is
it's going to soak in.
He was a woodworker, so I wouldn't be surprised if he made a few himself.
Or was it sanded?
Or he was like sanding them down once a quarter.
And he's
something.
like, this one's used for dumping. Yeah, he's like, it's nice mahogany, pine.
It's quality.
Maybe if
that would be like the most.
Shellacked it with some.
Let's get a nice,
some good sheer.
Something
shellac. Is that a word?
Yeah, it's like they put a nice like polish
veneer,
on it. Veneer.
It's polyurethane,
it's sleek. Right? Yeah.
So it's this. Yeah.
Then you could do a hardwood floor.
It's like the worst bathroom you could walk into would have a wooden toilet seat with the like furry carpet cover, or like toilet. Underneath floor.
Yeah, my grandma
mat.
had one of those too. It had it's just a shag toilet seat lid.
Oh, those make my skin
I will
crawl.
say, Kelsey, your standards for the worst toilet experience is a little high.
Okay, the toilet experience reality that's within my.
No, I'm saying because in my world,
now,
I mean, maybe taking
at home toilet in my community, that would be the worst.
Plus, grandpa's been sitting on here, so you're kind of thinking that.
Grandpa's been sitting.
You're kind of thinking that too. Like I've seen that bum.
Well, I'm excited because that's going to be a family heirloom for you.
You're right. I hadn't thought about that.
That's coming for you.
No, it's coming for me.
Yeah, you can hang that one up.
First granddaughter. Yeah. Honorably bestowed to me.
We always saw the way you looked at that. Yeah. We just thought you'd want to remember us.
They knew I loved it.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. Yeah, so I'm already tearing up.
Okay, that's what's going on the top of my car.
Yeah, that wooden toilet seat.
Seat standing up though.
Yeah, standing up.
I don't want the aerodynamics of my car. I'd like it to be ruined.
Yeah, there's a spoiler in the back.
Yeah,
I can totally see that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Wrapping up for today. Thanks for listening. We'll put in our plug for Rose George's book.
Yes, please. You can go on Amazon and buy this, but why not just send us your email, your 3 emails,
your 3 emails.
Mm-hmm. 3 emails, yours and 2 others, and we'll send you a book, or 1 email will get you one of these, right? One of these. Speaking of toilets.
Yep.
This has. That's kind of a round.
It's a little more
of a roundish
oval.
That's an oval.
Yeah. And then another way to win it is if you send us a toilet seat you made, and we'll give all this merch to you. If you make your own toilet seat.
If you have some interesting toilet seats that you've encountered, and
redesign the toilet seat,
U-shaped or full circle, we accept both.
Well, how they're
talking about, we might feature you on the show.
They're talking about how they have the U-shape to help people get to that area. I want one that's inaccessible, where it's when you sit down, it's there's guards, so you can't even get in there, and so you have to your legs are being spread for you, and it's covered, and so you don't even know what happens, and it's just it just is a.
I thought you were gonna say the little spikes that pop up.
Yeah, it's it's like a triangle.
It's like a penalty for sitting on.
Yeah, it's like bowling lanes, you know.
Oh yeah,
Bumpers.
Yeah,
Flip
bumpers.
out.
Bumpers.
Yeah, put some bumpers in, and then
Yeah.
all the lights turn off, and then it's a green light when you're good, and you stand up, and you're out of there. So
there.
I want to make an inaccessible experience.
You've got a lot of toilet business
I have a
ideas.
lot
I
of
think you
ideas.
should invest
I have a
in
lot
some
of
of
ideas.
these.
Dude, that's the money,
Just
man. Right there.
that we could do that, and then combine that with carbonated toilets.
Yes.
Carbonated, yeah,
Carbonated
I like that
toilets.
One. I like that
I'm
one.
into that. Really,
Yeah, we're gonna
I'm really
research
into
that one.
carbonated toilets.
I bet somebody's done it.
Yeah. So, or if not, it will happen. And it'll
Also
be me.
looking forward to the footage evidence of that experiment.
Yeah.
First, product trial.
Yeah, you're on the list.
Okay.
You'll be in there. You'll be helping us out.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Zuloo Poodcast. Follow us on social media at our links in the show notes below. To learn more, visit our website, zuloo.org. If you liked the podcast, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. For even more Zuloo fun, send us an email with your toilet stories to podcast@zuloo.com for a chance to be featured on the podcast. This episode of the Zuloo Poodcast is sponsored by Zuloo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at zuloo.com.